good evening, and thanks for joining us live once again. Okay, so as you know, major news about Binance.com came out earlier this week about the removal of some services. Okay, and one of them, of course, is the P2P, right? And this causes some concerns for many people, okay, who have been using this P2P and so used to using it as well, right? Okay, so questions about how to deposit funds into your Binance account starts to pop up, right? And we decided to have this live session tonight, okay, to go through actually these three other methods where you can use to fund your Binance account. All right, okay, so I see some of your live with us. Right, so can you give me some response so I know that you are here with me? Probably just tap on the like button or just type BSI, right? BSI stand for Binance SG Investor Group. All right, okay, yeah, thank you very much. So, yeah, without further delay, let's begin. Yeah. Okay, so just a quick disclaimer. First, of course, do note that whatever discussed tonight will be meant for general information only, because in any investment, it is imperative that you also do your own due diligence, do your own research as well, or you may consult a licensed financial advisor, right? Okay, so we also want to mention that we are not representative from Binance or its subsidiary. All right. Okay, yeah, so three methods, okay, how to deposit fund into Binance without P2P, right? So method number one, very simple, okay, it's actually just using the credit or debit card, your Visa, MasterCard, and all that. So how do you actually start doing that? Very easy. So you navigate to Binance.com, right? On the front page, right, just go to the top left hand corner, I would say. Okay, so you see this buy crypto right here, right? So of course now there's no more SGD pairing, right? Okay, so you have to choose the next best one. I would say USD, right? As I would say a international currency in a way, right? Okay, yeah. So and after which just click on credit or debit card, right? Then you will actually see this page popping up, right? So what you need to do is just key in the amount that you want to buy, right? And then just continue and check out as per what you will usually do when you buy something with credit card. It can be anything, your online shopping and all that. So it's not much of a difference, right? Okay. So but what different does it have from actually this P2P, right? So of course some things to take note, right? See, this, what you see is what you get. So if you pay 500 USD, you actually get 492.54 USDT. Of course, this is at the point of me testing it out, right? So this may vary, a little bit here and there. Okay, yeah. So of course, beside this, there may be some charges from the bank, right? So they may charge you, for using this credit card, like a advance payment and things like that, right? So there may be some charges from the bank. So of course, our suggestion is if you use debit card, I think it will be better because it's essentially your own money, right? So you just debit from it. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And number two, some banks may reject the transaction. Okay, so because because it's not because it's finance, right? So they may reject the transaction, right? So some banks do allow, but you need to probably call in to actually ask them to remove this restriction, right? So again, you need to test it out, okay? Which bank actually accepts. All right. So number three, of course, a little bit of the exchange rate as well, because essentially you are buying using US dollar, right? So when you buy US dollar, you need to take in consideration maybe a little bit of loss on the exchange rate, right? So these are three things to take note if you want to use this method, to actually get funds into your Binance, without P2P. Of course, this would be using the credit or debit card, right? Okay, yeah, so method number two, okay, is actually transfer your fund from Xfer enabled exchange, right? So if some of you may not know what Xfer is, so Xfer is actually a payment gateway that is approved by MAS Singapore, okay, to actually provide this e-money issuance. Okay, so what does that mean? It actually can be directly connected to some of the crypto exchanges out there. right? So you can actually top up extra. So you can take it, you can understand it as is like a PayPal or EasyLink, right? So you top up money into EasyLink, then you can take the bus, you can take the MRT, right? Something somewhere along that line. So if you top up extra, then you can use extra to buy some cryptocurrency, okay, in exchanges that have this extra so-called enabled, right? So what are they? So before I go to the different exchanges, let us talk about what will be the sequence like if you were to use Expert. All right. So firstly, of course, you have a local bank, like DBS, UOB, and all that, right? So what you do is you open a Expert account. Okay. So what you do is you top up the Expert, just like how you top up PayPal account or EasyLink card. Okay. Same, same theory here, right? Same concept. Okay. So after which you may go to crypto exchanges that is that supports expert, right? Just connect your expert, okay, and then you start buying your cryptocurrency. Okay, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, or even some stable coins, no problem, right? Okay, then you transfer it to Binance.com, right? So maybe because you like the function in Binance.com, or you are using a little bit more advanced feature in the Binance, like derivatives and margin and all that. So you like that. That's why you want to move your funds from one exchanges to another exchanges, right? I hope that makes sense. So what are the expert enabled exchanges? There are more, in fact, okay, but we'll just talk about two today. Okay, so number one is actually Gemini, right? So Gemini, and the other one is crypto.com, right? So you can actually explore these two. They are both you can actually use expert to in fact transfer your funds into these two exchanges, right? Okay, so yeah, we do have a promo link, right? So but not mandatory to use, but if you do use, there are some benefits. For Gemini you get $10 worth of Bitcoin, and then crypto.com you actually if I didn't remember wrongly, it's actually $25 worth of this CRO, their native coins, right? But you need to meet some criteria, for according to the exchange, right? So if I'm not wrong, they do have this Mooncake Festival promotion as well for crypto.com. I think you will get a Mooncake NFT. Okay, so again, you need to meet some terms and conditions, right? So again, you can take a look. Again, not mandatory to use our promo link, okay, but if you do use, there are some other benefits, right? Okay. Yes, okay, so once you open either of these one or both of them, right? So no problem if you want to open two. And these are actually the withdrawal fee. Okay, so some people will actually go to the extent to select some of the coin that is having this lower transfer fee. Okay, meaning you say originally, maybe I'm holding Bitcoin or Ethereum. Okay, but I realized, just an example, I realized that maybe Ripple coins has a lower withdrawal fee. So I sell my Bitcoin to Ripple and then I transfer it to Binance. No problem at all, right? Okay, but of course we must take note that if when doing this, there may be a slight changes during the period of doing so, right? Okay, there's a price movement and the price goes against you, right? So you need to take note of that, right? Okay, if not, if you prefer to just transfer the original coin that you are holding, for example, Ethereum or Bitcoin, then I would say no problem if the price move against you, because in any exchanges you're holding anyway, right? Okay, whether it's Gemini or Binance.com. Okay, so of course then you need to pay the withdrawal fee, right? So these are available actually online, so you can actually check them out. Okay, but my choice of which exchange to use and which coin to transfer to Binance. Of course, you can have your own choice, but this is my my own preference. Okay, it's actually DAI. Okay, from Gemini. Right. So why Gemini? Okay, Gemini actually has a free every month. They actually give you 10 free withdrawal. They don't charge any fee. Okay, so I think it's pretty good. Okay, and why DAI? DAI is actually a stable coin. Meaning you say that one DAI is always equal to one USD. All right, so actually I can eliminate the fear of having the price fluctuation, right? Okay, the price going against you and things like that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And if you use up 10, okay, I don't know if you're going to use so many in a month or, then I think it's also pretty decent because the withdrawal fee is 0.1 DAI, okay, which is essentially 10 cents, okay, US dollar 10 cents, right? Okay, so I think it's pretty decent as well. Okay, so Binance.com do have DAI. So what you can do is you can start trading with DAI, or you can just change your DAI to BUSD or USDT. Okay, and then you start to trade. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? And yeah, this is free for first 10 and 0.1 after that. Okay, so things to take note for using this method. Okay, so number one, of course, the different withdrawal fees. Okay, because different coins will have slight difference of withdrawal fees. Okay, but from what I have seen so far, it should varies between 30 cents up to maybe $5 to $10. Okay, US dollar. All right, of the withdrawal fee. So again, if you really want to um, research so deeply and check out which one actually gives you the best deal, then you may do so. Of course, no problem, right? That means you the first method I mentioned. That means originally you are holding Ethereum or Bitcoin or Cardano or whatever, but you realize, just as example again, you realize example Ripple coin has the lowest transfer fee. Example. So you change your existing holding to Ripple coin, then you transfer to Binance, no problem at all. Okay, but again, you need to beware of some fluctuation of prices, okay, because that Ripple coin may suddenly fall in that 10 to 20 minutes because anything can happen. This is cryptocurrency, right? Okay, so yep, you can take note of that. Okay, of course, my own choice is I would use Gemini because they give 10 withdrawal per month for free. Okay, so you don't need to pay any gas fee. Okay, that's I think quite good. And I will actually choose DAI to transfer over, okay, because DAI is a stable coin, so I don't have to worry about this fluctuation of prices, okay, of the different coins, of the different crypto or coins, if you like. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. Right, of course, there could also be minimum withdrawal as well. Okay, so meaning to say some coins they have a minimum withdrawal. By example, you need to withdraw a minimum of 0.001 Bitcoin, for example again, right? So, yeah, so this is something you need to take note as well, right? Okay, so number 4 is Xfer do have a limitation that you can only spend 30,000 per year. Okay, so if you are a whale, okay, a crypto whale, right, then this may be a problem for you. Okay, so yeah, you may want to ask some help, from your family members, maybe your spouse, okay, to also have extra. So you double your limit, okay? Yeah, so that's, of course, another way to bypass this limitation. All right, so I hope that makes sense. This is method number 2, using expert enabled exchanges, right? Okay, so method number 3, okay? In fact, you can actually use this Swift bank transfer. So how does that work? Okay, typically, for Swift bank transfer, you would actually need a multi-currency account. Okay, for example, US dollar. That means you have a account that can send and receive US dollar. Okay, so some of you may be thinking, hey, I actually don't have that. Most people will not have that. In fact, I believe, right? Because not many people will be dealing with US dollar on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so there's no reason for us to open a US dollar account or a multi-currency account. Okay, so can you still use this method? In fact, yes. Okay, so you actually can still use the normal remittance method. Okay, so by using DBS Bank. Okay, I believe most Singaporeans have DBS Bank, right? So even if you don't have, I think it's not difficult to open one, right? Okay, I hope you agree. Okay, so how to do it? So you again go to the top right under buy crypto, right? Okay, then find this bank deposit. Right. So next you actually see this again, select currency and payment method. Again, there's no more SGD, right? So you have to select USD and bank transfer, zero fee. Okay. And DBS also don't charge a fee. Okay. So I think that's quite fantastic. Okay. And after which you will click continue, right? And you will see this one. Okay. So you will enter the amount you wish to deposit, for example, $500, right? then you will actually receive the equivalent amount in BUSD, Binance US dollar, right? Binance, this native stablecoin, right? Okay, so again, transaction fee is 0. So I think it's pretty fantastic. So once you click confirm, what happened next is you will see this important note. So this is really, really important. So you must include the reference code when making a Swift wire transfer. Okay, so what is the reference code? The reference code is right here. Okay, so this reference code do not copy because yours will probably be different from mine right here. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, so what happened next? What you're going to do next is you go to your POSB or DBS account, right? Okay, so go under transfer, find DBS remit and overseas transfer. Then click on it, then click plus new this recipient, right? And remember this previous slide, you have all these details, right? You will actually need to key in all these details. Okay, so this arrow may looks confusing, but I promise you it actually is not confusing. Okay, it's just that this one line here, is crossing right here. Okay, so if you are going to be referring to this, then you can in fact pause the video. Okay, because this is recorded live in the Facebook group. You can refer to it anytime. Okay, so you just need to key in everything, okay, as per what is shown right here, and yeah, then click next. All right, so again, just to remind you, you will need to, before you confirm, again, put your reference code right here. I cover it up so you will not go and copy, because this is not your reference code. Your reference code will probably be different from mine, right? Okay, so you need to key in right here. If not, you will take more time for your funds to reach you in Binance. All right, okay, so things to take note. Okay, number one, of course, again, exchange rate, right? Because we are dealing in US dollar. So if you see that the exchange rate have dropped, maybe it's good time to fund your Binance account, right? Okay. Secondly, this method I would say is pretty cost saving. The only thing is that the exchange rate, okay, may not be in your favor. That's all. But the waiting time is actually 2 to 4 days. All right, so you will need to fund it earlier. So if you spot something that you want to buy immediately, then unfortunately you cannot do that. Okay, so you will need to wait, right, 2 to 4 days. Right, if not, you have to use the other two methods: the credit card, debit card, or the expert method. Right. Okay, yeah, so conclusion, right? The fastest will be, in fact, credit card. Okay, so within minutes, you will get your funds into the Binance account already, because it's just like buying things online. So it's straight away. Okay, but of course, the fee and all that will be slightly higher, and possibly also some fee from the bank site as well. Okay, yeah, so the most cost effective I would say is using Swift. Okay, and as well as this Gemini, by using the expert route. Okay, because you will not be there's this 10 free withdrawal, right? Okay, on this Gemini. All right, so you can actually do that. Okay, so how long? Okay, assuming you already have expert, you already have Gemini, right? So how long will it take to uh, go into your Binance? Okay, sorry, let me repeat. Assuming you have funds in your expert already, all right, and you have Gemini account open already. Okay, so how long does it take for you to buy something in Gemini and then transfer it to Binance? Okay, so I will say probably also within minutes, right? Okay, of course, depending on how busy the network is. Okay, if you have experience before, sometimes if the blockchain network, okay, for example, Ethereum network or whatever network, right, could be congested because there's a lot of activities in the blockchain on that particular day, that particular time. Okay, so then it may take longer than usual. Okay, if not, I would say it's pretty fast as well. Okay, so suggestion, of course, again, do your own due diligence and research as well. I would think that I would personally use the expert route. Okay, and of course, if the 30K is up, then I will think of other ways. Okay, maybe the Swift if I'm not in a hurry, If I'm in a hurry, I need to quickly buy this because I spot an opportunity that I cannot miss, then probably credit card. Okay, so sometimes you think about it. Okay, cryptocurrency has great potential. Okay, I believe most of you would agree. If not, you probably will not be in this group. Okay, so paying a little bit of fee, is it worth it? In exchange for a little bit of, I would say, more time. Okay, and catch an opportunity that potentially, this coin maybe can go 100%, 200%, 1000%. Okay, in the long run, of course. Okay, not that kind of overnight speculation, right? Is it worth it? Again, I cannot answer this for you. So if you think it is, then yeah, these are the three methods that you can explore and start using. All right. Okay. Yeah. So if you find this session, this very very short session beneficial, do help us to share. Click on the like button. So I know that you find this valuable. Okay. So or the love button, the care button, no problem. Okay, so at least some response, so I know that you guys are watching, okay, and find it valuable. Okay, and if you think that this something that can help your people around you, peers around you, maybe share it to your own pages and your own profile. Okay, if that's okay with you, right? Okay, so let me see if there's any questions. Okay, give me a second, just looking through. All right, I don't see any questions as of now, right? So I'm not sure if it's lagging right here, okay? But no worries, okay? So if you do have questions, do type it in the comment, right? So we will still answer them even after the live session has ended, okay? So if you need to refer to to the slide earlier on, about the Swift transfer and all that, you can actually rewatch this video because it's recorded, okay, in the Binance SG Investor Group. So you can rewatch as many times as you want. Okay, pause it, to copy down whatever notes that you need. Right? Okay. So with that, let me see. Okay. Oh yeah. Have a questions. XFR conversion rate to okay. XFR is using SGD to fund. Okay. So there's no exchange rate risk. Okay, so I think it's pretty. So from your DBS, if you fund $500, you will get $500 in expert. All right. Okay, then you can actually buy in Gemini and Crypto.com. You can actually buy in SGD as well. Okay, or if you prefer USD for whatever reason, you can do that as well. Okay, I would say the rate are quite decent as well. Okay, in both Crypto.com and Gemini. Okay, so there's another question right here. So far for iOS store is not available anymore. So if Binance got any other updates, how to update? Okay, so very good question. To be honest with you, I also don't have an answer for you regarding this. Okay, but personally, I suspect that when it comes to a time where there's multiple updates and we are unable to update, okay, probably we will not be able to use the app anymore. Okay, so yeah, we have to act, and respond accordingly. Okay, by then, right? I hope that is okay for you. Right. So yeah, thank you, Ginny, as well. Right. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So someone said for Binance, I sorry, I do not know what you mean. Okay. So and I cannot see on it. Right. So yeah, but yeah, if you want to elaborate your questions, yeah, then maybe we can answer them. Okay, give me a second. Let me just look again, one last round. Okay, yeah. So if there's no further questions, I will conclude the end of this live session. Right. So again, thanks for joining us. Right. So if you do enjoy, again, type on the, tap on the love button maybe this time. Okay, and share it to your friends. Right. So if you still have questions, no problem, just type it in. we will look at them later and reply you via typing as well. Okay, so you will get your answers to your questions. Okay, we do our best to answer. Okay, yeah. So I saw one last question, so I will just answer that before we conclude the end of the session. Right. So yes, you can still use the web version. So you can still use your laptop. Right. In fact, on your phone, we have browser as well, right? Chrome browser and all that. You still can actually log in via your phone browser. Okay. Of course, it will still be slightly more troublesome, than using an app itself, right? Again, personal opinion, right? Okay. Yeah. So yes. Okay. So yeah. Any further questions? We will look at it at the comment box later. Right. So again, let me see. One. Yeah, okay. So again, no questions, then we will conclude the end of the session. Right. So again, yeah, thank you for joining us. Right. So do help us to share this so more people can, benefit from this short sharing. Right. Okay. So I see you again in the next live. Bye bye.